Hello everyone, bonjour tout le monde. Welcome to EFA208, where I am challenging all politicians of all stripes. And before I get into this, I please ask you to subscribe, click on the bell, like, and share with those you love and respect. Now let's get into some equality for all. I read this today, and I'm looking at big or small, right? Big or small, whether a company's making $1 million a year in taxation revenue. So it generates $1 million a year or $750,000 a year. It generates for taxation fees collected for the government. And then you get another business that's generating $150,000, $250,000 a year that generates in collection of taxation and fees and gives it to the government. And then when I look at that, and they're both treated equally during lockdowns. Why? If one company has 30 employees and et cetera and so forth, and another company is a small, and again, respectfully, they both put in their time day to day. Nobody in business that runs an efficient, profitable, economy-driven, job-creating, stimuli business does it from their couch, right? They put in their time and they put in their hours. So why is a company that generates $750,000 a year in taxation and collection revenue and to the government, and another company that generates $150,000 generated for the government, why are they treated equally? It doesn't make sense. And I'm talking about the $20,000. I'm going to give you a $20,000 loan, a $50,000 loan, because they're basically loans, right? And here you go, here's your loans, but you get the exact same treatment of those companies. It does not make sense. But let's go further here. Any government employees that is affected by their employer, i.e. the employer, I'm talking about the governments. If an employee that is working on payroll for the government and is affected by their employment, etc., they are taken care of, correct? Let's keep going on. And with absolute love and respect here for both my business life of 30 years and my government life of 27 years. Absolute love and respect for both of them, right? And I've said this, and I don't want to make this podcast about that, but I have absolute love and respect for both worlds that I come from. But when I look for a dollar for dollar, and I won't even go donut to donut, we'll go Blackberry to Blackberry here. So dollar for dollar, and then keep it clean and healthy. So dollar for dollar, Blackberry to Blackberry. My 30 years of 30 years of business life compared to my 27 years of government life, when I specific to the generation of revenue and taxation, job creation, keeping businesses afloat, stimulating the economy while giving back to the community, pound for pound, dollar for dollar, Blackberry to Blackberry. It was my business life that gave a hell of a lot more when I look at it that way. And when I take that into account, that if that was an employee, that employee would be the most senior of employees. The ones that would, through time and respect for the time served, would have the respect and the protection and support of the unions. They would be treated as one of the most senior employees when you look at it dollar for dollar that way. And I'm looking at that because I can speak from both walks of life, and I did both of them, and I call myself interminded, and I know the word that goes in both entities really, really well, right? So when I'm looking at it dollar for dollar, Blackberry to Blackberry, my business life contributed a lot more to the system when you look at it that way. So let's keep going here. When I look at equal rights, human rights, workplace discrimination, harassment, when I look at all that stuff, when you put it all together, employee benefits and so on and so forth, dollar for dollar, businesses are basically employees of the government. When you look at the revenue and taxation that they collect, that they have people on their payroll that have nothing to do with their business but contribute for the government, right? So they collect money for the government. They have people on payroll for the government. Everything they do is to collect fees and taxes from the government. But because the cut of the government is getting so high, when I look at businesses, you're basically an employee of the government, right? Because when you get to a certain point and you're giving so much of your company to something, is it really your company? So therefore you become an employee of. So when I look at it that way, I look at businesses now becoming the employees of government because they give so much up to the government. So when I look at that, if businesses are therefore employees of the government, shouldn't the employee be taken care of a hell of a lot better than they are today? Along with, shouldn't it be one of the most senior of employees when you look at benefits and protection and support, right? Would businesses contribute dollar for dollar? So when I look at that and I look at the human rights and the benefits of government employees and everything that's been going on for this last year, and I look at the businesses and so many people have shut their doors, closed their businesses, downsized, laid off, basically walked away, dropped the keys, the whole 9 yards, right? All the way up to suicides and overdoses and etc. and divorces and so on and so forth. And it's not going to stop because they're talking about another wave in April, and you know when they're talking about it, it's coming. That's how it works. If they're talking about it, it's coming. So it's coming, right? So there'll be more lockdowns and etc. And that's going to continue. But when I look at that and I look at the equality of all, when I look at equality of all, what is it, 208 today? 208, right? And I look back when I started all this. When I look at the equality for all, and I look at the benefits for all, the human rights for all, where are all the human rights out there? Where are all those individuals that pound the pavement, that stand on soapboxes? Where are each and every one of you pounding on the government door, telling them, you know what? You are discriminating, you're mistreating. Where's the human rights of all those business individuals that you collect? You don't even have to do anything for it. You just collect all this money and taxation and fees that is generated by those top-notch employees of yours, i.e. the businesses. Where are their human rights? Jean-Guy Bourguignon, Equality for All, 208.